the quality of the lead that gives an agent an opportunity to truly be successful and make that six-figure or multiple six-figure income.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If they do that, to piggyback on that, because that's such a good point. So let's just say that they are somebody, an agent jumps into your operation and they receive an inbound call. How do they handle the first 5, 10, 30 seconds of that inbound call? What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and today, man, dude, we got something special for you guys. I love these guests. They've been on before, backed by popular demand. Y'all said, hey, I want these cats to train on 2 specific items today. So we're going to talk about literally how to handle, like their whole company works off of inbound calls only, which is incredible, by the way. There's going to be 2 things we're going to talk about: how to handle the first 30 seconds of an inbound call, right? We'll riff and talk and train on that topic. And the second is also going to be on how to have a 1-call close. So welcome back from Final Expense Direct, Louis Beauchamp and Kim Wilhelm.
How we doing?
Afternoon. Welcome back. Appreciate you guys being back. Man, like you guys do a really good job, because most companies, it's not built around an inbound call. Like it's typically based around entirely outbound, hitting the pavement, dialing old leads, something, like I was talking to somebody earlier and they're like, yeah, I gave my brand new agent 500 aged leads and just told them, hey, dial away. And she's like, yeah, but they're losing confidence and they're like frustrated and they're not making any sales. And they're like, she's like, how can I help them? I'm like, give them somebody to talk to, what I mean? Increase their confidence a little bit, good stuff. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think you're right on point. I mean, I think the frustration lies when, I hear it all the time when we're recruiting people, is that, I go buy leads or I'm given leads and all I do is pound plastic, hit phone numbers, and I'm lucky if I talk to maybe 3-4 people a day. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's frustrating, man. I mean, you're exactly right. It blows the bubble. The confidence bubble goes away. And people are wasting time, and time is valuable. You can't get it back, right? So here, our whole goal and the philosophy, let's put the agent in the best selling situation we possibly can.
Yeah.
Right? Nurture them, look for a good agent, prospect experience. So it's dual, right? And it works, if you find the right vertical and the right way to put that message out there, it just works. All you got to do is, like Kim says, all you got to do is lock and load, plug and play, put me in, coach, and I'm ready, right? And then just next.
I like it. I like that.
If I could add to Lewis's comment, I'm an old dog salesman. All right. And I consider myself to be one of the best in the past. Haven't sold in a while, but I consider myself to be one of the best in the blue collar market. And Lewis is right. Time is money. And a good salesman does not need to be spending his day pounding plastic looking for someone to talk to. I've used an old saying for years that a salesman's mouth isn't moving, isn't depositing checks, right? A good salesman's mouth needs to be moving, and he needs to be talking to high intent leads.
Yeah.
High intent. Back in the 80s, had a partner that made a strong statement to me. He said, if you want to build a really good organization, you need to find something to do. That's your market, like Final Expense, which is what we've chosen. Mm-hmm. And you need to find a place to go. That is your lead. Okay? And then you need to do it very well and prove it. Prove that you can write a volume of business.
Yeah.
And then make certain you have excess of places to go, meaning more leads than you can handle. And then you recruit people to come in and mimic you. So as a salesperson, I'm not one to spend a lot of time working garbage leads. You know, I think I said in the past on one of our podcasts that since the 80s, I've had the attitude of I wouldn't get out of bed for less than $100,000 a year. All right. Now, it doesn't mean somebody guaranteed me $100,000 and I'll get up and come to work. What it meant is I had the mindset that I'm going after that $100,000 and don't anybody get in my way. So I have a market final expense.
Yeah.
I'm going to search for the best lead, which we know for years, what we've been doing for years is consumer initiated inbound calls, right? Not a telemarketing call where someone from Pakistan is calling them and getting them on the phone and sending them to you.
And then live transferring. Yeah.
And then live transferring. That's not a good lead. Someone who sees a TV commercial and says, you know what, I need to find out about this. Someone who sees an advertisement on YouTube, a video, and says, you know what, I just went to a funeral last week. I need to look into this. And they're calling. So for years, we've had nothing but consumer-initiated inbound calls.
I love
our
that.
Agents can take 7, 10, 15 inbound calls a day. So it's the quality of the lead that gives an agent an opportunity to truly be successful and make that six-figure or multiple six-figure income.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if they do that, to piggyback on that, because that's such a good point. So let's just say that they are somebody, an agent jumps in to your operation and they receive an inbound call. How do they handle the first 5, 10, 30 seconds of that inbound call? Whichever one of you, would rather take it is good with me.
Lewis, you want to run with it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's something that we train on all the time because we find that a lot of people don't know how to handle the inbound call because they're used to pounding plastic, right? And there's a lot of mistakes that are made. It starts with tonality, right? I mean, it's tonality, your voice, confidence in your voice, right? Can you teach that to people? Many, many times you can. But it's that confidence, right? They've got to feel that you're the guy that's going to help them. Why are they calling in? What's that trigger that caused that reaction, watching that video, watching that commercial? What started in their heart and caused that calling? So the discovery piece of the puzzle is what's critical. And if you started off with saying, hey, how you doing? How's the weather there? Or something dumb like that, the whole psychology of the call goes south. It goes the wrong direction right away. So you have to be in a position of control. You got to know the questions to ask and listening more than anything else. So that first 30 seconds is, Cody, thank you for calling in. Are you on a cell phone? Are you on a landline? I want to send you my business card so you know exactly who you're talking to. You establish credibility. You talk about the company, Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, tenure, and then you start asking questions. And you control the conversation. And don't ask a stupid question like, are you calling in for coverage for yourself or somebody else? Or, dumb questions like that take you down the wrong way, So it's
not up front.
Yeah.
Not up front.
It's a discovery process.
Yeah.
Help me understand.
Yeah,
I was
you're
gonna
about to
say,
give us a good question, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, help me understand while we're talking today. What do you know about final expense? What's your experience
Mm.
been like? Right? We're talking today because you're curious. Have you had to pay for somebody's funeral recently? What was that like? How did it make you feel? And it's those 3, 4, 5 layer questions that take the call in the right direction. And I think in listening to calls, we hear this. Louis, I just want to make sure my wife has the money to bury me. And then the agent will say, oh, okay. Well, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? You know what I mean? They take that first look and then they're gone. And they're quoting in 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes, and they're wondering, why am I not selling anything? And it just doesn't work. It just
So
doesn't
true.
work.
So good. Yeah, I hear that so many. Yeah, and you're right. And really to like extrapolate exactly what you're sharing too is so good. Is like once you find the pain point,
Mm-hmm.
right? The problem, the why, etc. Right? What's Lewis is saying is slow down and go several questions deep on that topic. I like that when you were talking about the funeral piece. Like, hey, how did have you ever had to pay for a funeral? When was that? Who was it? How did it make you feel?
Yeah.
Like, did you get? You're slowing down and building rapport and building value instead of like, hey, how's the weather? Instead of always building rapport in the beginning, which most people that are great salespeople over the phone aren't doing initially. They're not, just wasting a bunch of time. Then they're choosing their moments to build rapport throughout the call, right? Which will also lead to the one call close. Anything else on the first 30, 60 seconds of an inbound call? I thought that was phenomenal.
Let me just add one thing that what Lewis said was tonality was really important. That it is. I call it voice inflection. It's what I was taught back in 1980 when I first started selling. Voice inflection. That's how you touch them from your heart to their heart. They have to know you're a real person. You care. So voice inflection is really important. But also I'm going to say mindset is equally important. You have to come into every call before you say hello with, I'm helping this guy. I'm helping this gal. And so every call is answered like when you're on stage, Cody, it's showtime. It's showtime. You wouldn't walk up on that stage slovenly and whatever, You're an actor, you're an actress. And on every call, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's the mindset of a winner of, I'm going to help everybody I talk to today, even though I'm not, but I got to have the mindset. We had an agent yesterday, took 6 calls and wrote 5 apps. He had a mindset of winning. He wrote $5,500 in premium yesterday. He had the mindset. Now, it's not going to be that way all the time. You might take 10 leads and write 1, but now because I know I'm a 25, 30% closer, I know tomorrow the odds are going to be in my favor because I'm bringing the mindset.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. Every day, all day.
Also, what would you say is an average close rate across your organization? Obviously, some do better, some do worse. An average close rate from an inbound call?
Well, for the agency, when we have newer agents, which we have right now, it of course lowers it because they're finding their way to deliver a message. Last week, I'll say this, last month, we were at 15% for the agency. Our best agent was at 32%.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm a guy that says, if one can, I can. All right. He and he was 27% in the month of December.
Wow.
So one agent last year closed 28% for the year. Again, if one can, I can. You just got to find your way to deliver a message that resonates with the majority of the people.
Yes.
That you're talking to.
I think too, like y'all, if I'm not mistaken, y'all have programs. One is like y'all cover the cost of the calls. The other program is the agent can pay for the calls. I'm guessing a little
That's
higher
correct.
commission, and they pay for the call. And I think calls like $23 to the agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Current
The inbound call,
cost per call is $23.
freaking steal, by the way. I'm just going to add that publicly. That's ridiculous. Okay. Here's why it's ridiculous. Because if its average is 15% across the board, if you take $23 divided by 15%, literally
7 calls.
average cost of acquisition, if someone's paying for calls, is $153.
Yep.
Like, dude, you're going to give me, $600, $700, $800, $900, and I'm going to give you, $153. Sign me up, man. You know what I mean? Like I'll do that all day, right?
Amen.
Well, but the key also is coming in with an open mind, being willing to forget the majority of what you learned at the prior places, because if things had worked, you wouldn't have been leaving there. So
Correct.
Leave what you learned there and come in with an open mind, willing to be a sponge. And because I believe we have some of the best training in the industry, but you gotta absorb it. I'm sorry, Louis, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, and I think we were going down the same track. It's work ethic. You can't make 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, working 2-3 hours a day, 2-3 days a week. It's just not out there. It's a fantasy, right? And so like Kim said, it's a mindset. We try to I mentioned it in the very beginning, we try to put the agent in the best selling situation we got. We've got the tools. We can teach you how to ask proper discovery questions. And then it leads into a very simplified one call close, which is, part of the topic, because if you do good discovery and you're in an exchange with people back and forth, they're going to tell you why it's important to do this today, right? And in 20 minutes or so, you should know what you have. And if they're not disturbed to do something today, next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But you can't rush the process. And that's the key. They have a tendency to go to the quote too quick and get to the money too quick. And then there's a distrust. This senior market that we have in our hands today is quite different than it was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And things that you used to do just doesn't work. All right. They're intuitive, but they're still guarded. They're still fearful. And the old saying, man, if they don't like you, you can't give them $100 bill for $1. Kim says that all the time. And it is what it is, So learning how to have a meaningful conversation with people, not a scripted conversation with people.
Yeah.
And that's our focus in our training, day in, day out, questions, an interchange of information to see if we're the right fit for you and you're the right fit for us.
Yep.
And that's how it works.
Here's two things I'm hearing. This is great feedback. Super amazing educational content, by the way. For those that watch this later, I would love for you to let us know in comments below what you think of this style of interview. I think it's one of the best we've had in a while. Two things I'm picking up. One is it does drive me nuts when agents have not had success, but they think they know it all and they want to continue to do it their way. And this is a public, I don't know what you call that, public service announcement. There you go. PSA. Like if you think that you are doing great and you're not, and you think you know it all, you know what I mean? Like you need to flush it. And when you go to an organization and you're trying to make this thing work, be coachable, stop talking and start freaking listening. Same thing on a phone call, right? You're hearing this today. Stop talking, freaking listen, man. Ask questions, be in control of the call. I like too that you mentioned, and both of you mentioned it, like stop trying to rush this thing. Like this is going to take a second. You're not going to close a final expense sale, even on an inbound call when they need it, in 6 minutes. It ain't going to work. It's not how, we're not selling, microwaves,
Yeah.
Even though you can cook a lot of cash with the way that Final Expense Direct is doing it, which is cool. Kim or Lewis, either way, to kind of wrap it up, last question. If they're wanting to get better at the actual, like you talked about leading up to a one call close and the process and all that, if they want to end and have like question, phrase, like, and actually be able to close better, what advice or scripting would you give around that topic?
To close better? To close better, it's not a matter of just closing better. It could be also your one call close.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept, same person, same presentation, same everything. Number one, it comes down to the mindset. It comes down to being willing to do the work and the hard work, which means on every call, I'm going to give a meaningful presentation, which means it's going to be credible, it's going to be friendly, and it's going to be meaningful to the client. I'm also going to be a great listener so that I hear the answers to the questions.
Yeah.
And that then allows me to go deeper into a subject where I noticed I touched their heart. I need to go deeper, and then maybe deeper, and then know when to move on. And when Lewis said earlier, there are affirmations and trial closes that go through a presentation. Lewis said earlier, what's your main concern with the call today? And he said, well, I just want to make sure my wife doesn't have to go through putting me in the ground, without the finances. I don't want my family. A statement, most people say, okay. No, don't say, okay. Say, Cody, I can help you with that. Okay. My okay is a trial close early in the presentation. And I get them to say yes 4, 5, 6 times throughout the presentation with affirmative statements like I just did.
Yes.
So it comes down to a credible, friendly, meaningful presentation, and doing this for 15, 20 minutes before you get into the underwriting and the quoting.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have that high closing ratio. See, a lot of these people that call in, we're not the first people they talk to about final expense. They've talked to 3 or 4 other agencies that had people that were in underwriting in 3-4 minutes. No connection was made. They gave them a quote, and it's done. To make a sale, these people have to know that you are the guy to help them.
Yes.
That you're the professional that they can count on. And they, your tone of voice, your knowledge, not being in a hurry to get all the money out of their purse. Yeah. So not quoting and closing after 5, 6, 7 minutes. And at the very end, I would tell you something that's critical before I go into a close would be being very good at presenting features and benefits of the policy before I go into the quote.
Mm-hmm.
The terminal illness accelerated benefit rider is huge in how you explain it. Some people don't explain it at all or explain it poorly. It's huge. The majority of seniors that don't die from an accident are going to die from a terminal illness. Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer. So they can relate to it. And if you could say, Miss Mary, if you're should you be diagnosed with a terminal illness, XYZ company with a statement from the doctor will go ahead and send you the check for up to your policy benefits, allowing you to go to the funeral home and take care of this yourself, saving your family from that emotional and trying experience. That's a great benefit, isn't it, Cody?
Mm-hmm.
And when you say yes, I'm bringing you in. I'm reeling you in, big dog.
That's right.
Right? Agents don't do that.
No.
So again, credible, friendly, meaningful before you even get to the quotes.
Phenomenal. This is not y'all's first rodeo, that is for sure. I think they've done this for a day or two. If agents want to learn more about Final Expense Direct, where can they go and what should they do?
Well, they can go straight to our website, and that's a perfect place to start. It'll give you all kinds of information, FAQs on who we are, what we do, how we do it. There's a spot that you can click to set a date on our calendar for one of our recruiters to talk to you.
Nice.
Go visit our YouTube channel. Again, nice, good cultural type information that gives you a better idea and feel as to who we are and how we do things. And just come on, knock on the door, man. But you got to be serious about it. We're not looking for part-time folks, right? And that mindset just doesn't work with us. We're not that. That's not who we are. Not that it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just not who we are, right?
Sure.
We're not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go start at our website, start at our YouTube channel, and come on in and schedule an interview.
I love it. Well, thank you both for being back on the channel. Appreciate you sharing the amazing content today.
We appreciate you, Cody.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cody.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Also, thank you guys for hanging out and watching and listening to the Power Player Podcast. Once again, what we talked about today, man, phenomenal content on literally how to handle the first 30 seconds of an inbound call, which is all Final Expense Direct does, which is freaking amazing, and structuring a call and actually having a one-call close. Phenomenal detail. Take some notes, apply it to your business, and go make some more money and help people, man. Thanks for listening to Power Player Podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Yeah, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.